The Pokemon anime is probably the best it's ever been. I'm gonna be real. It is really, really good right now, and I figured we'd make a video talking about it. Now, keep in mind, me as a fan of Pokemon and a fan of anime, I'm not very analytical with a lot of this stuff. Like, I just kind of watch what I like to watch, and even though I like watching other people analyze content, I'm not one of those analytical people myself. So, take this less of like a review and more like just me, who's really excited about the show and wanted to talk about it. So I have a list of bullet points here. This is going to be very ranty, but I hope you guys are here for the ride. Just hopping straight into this, not to waste any of you guys' time. Ash is no longer like the main protagonist of the show, which makes me so damn happy. And I know it's weird to say that. It's like, oh, like, what the hell? You don't like Ash? No, Ash is cool. Ash is cool. But in Pokemon Journeys, they lift like a lot of the pressure of being the main character off of Ash, and it's more of like a split dynamic between Ash and Go. Normally, I mean, you guys have seen a Pokemon episode. It's like Ash is the main character, and everybody else is kind of like side pieces. But in this show, Ash and Go have like equal spotlight. They're equally developed, and it's so damn cool to see that, because not only is it refreshing, honestly, seeing a character that's not Ash getting some love, but it's also it's just cool because Go is a cool character. Just so you guys know, like, my viewing history with the Pokemon anime, I haven't seen every episode of the show, like leading up until Pokemon Journeys. I skipped out on a lot of specifically Pokemon Sun and Moon, so maybe some of these, really cool things I'm going to mention were already in Sun and Moon, and I didn't even realize. But either way, I'm really hyped up on it. I'm really excited about it. You guys can let me know about that down below. Go's entire purpose in this show is so simplistic, but so great. He just wants to catch every single Pokemon. And for a series that has the title, Gotta Catch Them All, it's actually insane that they haven't done a character already that actually wants to physically catch them all. But here we are, Go is doing it, and it's so damn cool to see him catching Pokemon every single episode. Because in previous seasons, for Pokemon to be obtained in the show, it was always a very rare occurrence. Like, I remember, like, Ash would catch a new Pokemon, like, maybe once every 10 episodes. Like, it was super duper rare for, like, him to acquire new Mons. But in this show, it's like, not only is Go catching a lot of Mons, but Ash is catching a lot of Mons too. And it's like constantly, you're just getting all these new Pokemon, all these new faces. And the Pokemon themselves, bro, they have personalities. They have such good personalities. You guys remember Oshawott from, like, Black and White? Or like Piplup from Diamond and Pearl? Every single Pokemon in this series is like that to some extent. One of the biggest things that like kind of kills like a season of Pokemon for me is just like the Pokemon being kind of bland. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of but there's no like personality, there's no like character to them. But in this show, despite them catching more Pokemon than they've ever caught before, every single Pokemon has like a immediate personality that you can latch onto, which is really freaking cool. They don't do that very often, and it's just cool. It's really awesome. It feels so much more in tune with what the Pokemon fan base wants and does with Pokemon, if that makes any sense. Like, there's so many things in this anime that feel straight out of like what actual Pokemon players will do. Like, for example, there was this one character who had the goal of catching every shiny Pokemon, and it's like shiny living dexes, or just living dexes in general, have been a part of like the Pokemon community in the gaming side for years. And so it's so cool to see them kind of address that type of thing. And so for people who like, have had that goal before, they can relate to the characters that they introduce in the show. Another way that they make this show feel so refreshing compared to previous seasons is the fact that they travel. Like Ash and Go, they're going everywhere. Like, it's not just one region. They're not just in Galar, going through the path as you would in the games. Like, they are jumping around everywhere. They're going to Hoenn, they're going to Sinnoh, they're going to freaking Unova, they're going back to Kanto, and then to Galar, and then they go. It's freaking great. It's awesome. Like, that not only makes the whole series feel fresh, but it also allows for a lot of varied settings, a lot of varied Pokemon, and also a lot of varied mechanics as well. It's not just Dynamax, baby. They're bringing back a lot of really cool stuff. And that leads me into the other thing that this allows, and one of the most important things that this allows, and that's fan service. And not like the horny fan service, okay? I'm talking wholesome fan service where they bring back old characters, they bring back and they reference things in Ash's past because he's going back to the settings where those events took place. And it's just so cool to see, especially as someone who's like, I'm not like very adamant with keeping up with everything involving the anime, but like, I've seen most of it, and like getting to see locations that are very familiar and to have them like almost reference and retell stories that happened like 20 years ago. Like literally, it goes back that far. They reference things that happen in the Indigo League. It's actually insane. So like that is just really cool to see because I feel like it rewards people who have stuck around and have watched Pokemon for 20 plus years. Like you get to see that and it just makes you feel like they're not forgetting where they started. You know what I mean? Which is awesome. So yeah, them traveling is probably one of the best parts about the show. They just get to go everywhere, fan service, new Pokemon, old Pokemon, everything. It's basically what it feels like is this season of the anime. It doesn't feel like a Galar anime, you know what I mean? Like what you would normally expect based on what we've gotten in the past. It feels like the ultimate Pokemon anime. You know what I mean? It really does feel like they're encompassing everything that Ash has done. And I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like as a seeking suspicion, and I mean, you guys can come back to this video if I end up being right, but I have a feeling that the next season after whatever comes after Journeys, I really do think they're gonna scrap Ash. I think Ash is done. I think he's getting the boot. I don't know. I just have a feeling. I feel like they have written just so much of Ash. You know what I mean? And as I was talking about earlier, they're already bringing in Go, trying to lessen the importance that Ash has on the show. I feel like after this, Ash is going to either become a side character or just get written out. I just have a feeling. But I guess we'll see, you know? Oh no, Frank's about to be negative. Oh darn. So, okay. My biggest gripe, and it's freaking Pokemon, so it's like, you know, how much can you really expect? But the show is still very formulaic. You know what I mean? Like, it's still very predictable. It's like, it's Pokemon. Team Rocket shows up, play, you know what I mean? And, like, there are definitely some very unpredictable moments that catch me off guard, for sure. And there's a lot of really funny jokes as well that catch me off guard. But, you know, generally speaking, it's still Pokemon, you know? Like, there's still a routine, there's still tropes. But I gotta say, like, the tropes that they put in, it doesn't feel very... like, it doesn't feel as exhaustive as it has in other series. And I think a big part of that is just because of, like, the things that they have added to make it fresh. Team Rocket does show up all the time, but, like, the fact that they're doing it in all these different locations and, like, you know, with all these different Pokemon, and, like, Go has a huge part in, like, that sort of relationship as well. It just makes it interesting for sure. It's like, it's not like a total overhaul of the formula. Like, the formula is still there, but they added a bunch of, like, I think pretty big things to make it fresh after all these years. Another good thing is Ash's team is really good. Like he is catching some really great Pokemon, and I won't talk specifics, but dude, bro, like it feels like Ash is like really capable. Like you can tell he has experience with battling from like the many years he's been doing it, but at the same time, he's not like a god tier, insane, you know, just overpowered, ridiculous battler. Like he's very grounded. I like the balance, you know what I mean? Because obviously you don't want him to be OP, but you also want him to like still be able to pay respects to like the journey he's had leading up to this point, to where like he seems at least kind of capable considering what he's been through. So I think they struck a very good balance with that. The other thing I wanted to touch on was just the animation. And so I really like how they did the animation this time around, because you guys know with Sun and Moon, they really dumbed down the art style for the sake of having more fluid animation, which I really like. I really like that. However, the super dumbed down art style did kind of turned me off from Sun and Moon. I know Sun and Moon, at least I've heard, had some really mature like themes and was really good story-wise. But like the more childish art style did kind of turn me off from it at first. But this series, I actually feel like struck a good balance. You know what I mean? Where like it's still dumbed down to the point to where the animation is super fluid, which is awesome. I like that. But it's not dumbed down to the point to where it feels super childish. If you were to put it on a spectrum, I feel like Sun and Moon is like here, you know, with like the very childish art style, but like super fluid animation. And then like XYZ is like here, you know what I mean, with the more mature art style, but not as fluid animation. I feel like if you had to place Journeys somewhere on this, I would say it would be like a here. You know what I mean? To where it's like, it still has like a lot of that fluidity that was good about Sun and Moon. But it's not like over the top childish, if that makes sense. Hopefully you guys kind of get what I'm talking about here. And as I said, I haven't really seen Sun and Moon, so like I don't really want to give like a definitive opinion, but at least from what I've seen, this does feel like a good in between. You know what I mean? So I really dig it. I think it's I think it's one of the best seasons of the anime so far. They're really finally changing a lot of things up, which I like, and it's so cool, just like seeing all the different things they're doing with it, you know? And there's a lot of possibilities with what this sort of format or this theme for a show can set up with, like, you know, Go catching all the Pokemon, them traveling everywhere. Like, there's a lot of potential for story here. But I'm excited to see more, man. I'm excited to see more. I think it's going to be really cool to see what they can do with this. And, you know, I think it'll be a great season for sure. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!